What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. So today I will be talking about WOBC, the Warrant Officer Basic Course, my experience and my opinions. And I say that only because everybody doesn't feel or may not agree with what I went through based off of my experience and my opinions. For example, some people might not like the fact that we had to do accountability at 4:45, and I might talk about it, I might complain about it, but somebody else might feel like, okay, it was imperative that that's what we did because we did have a situation where somebody committed suicide. So please make sure you are checking on your soldiers. Make sure you are checking on your battle buddies to your left and your right in regards to mental health and suicide prevention, okay? Because you might be able to change somebody's mind. So this, again, is my personal experience. And if you are not a 920 Alpha or Bravo, this still may pertain to you because you are awaiting to go to WOBC. And granted, we have different MOSs, but everything should pretty much be the same. It just depends on your instructor. But the Monday through Friday, daily schedule with going to class is going to be the same. You have your weekends off. You have your 4-day passes. But before we jump into this video, I want to take the time to show that this coin that we got from our mentor, CW5 Jones. He gave us a coin before we graduated because he is about to retire, and he was our guest speaker at our graduation. So I really appreciate that. And then also, if you get a chance to purchase Warrant Officer gear, then make sure you purchase it. I'm going to show you all my belt that I purchased, and I also purchased a few shirts as well. But you have a coffee cup. Like I said, I got a shirt. So just make sure you invest and give back to the Quartermaster branch and the Warrant Officer cohort, because these are things that you can basically take with you back to your units. And while you're sitting at your desk just drinking on your coffee, sipping on your coffee, you have your Warrant Officer mug, basically with the Rising Eagle and all of that, and the WO1 to CW5 rank. So please, please, please invest in yourself, because at this point you made it this far. You are a Warrant Officer. Congratulations. And also, I would like to give a few shout outs. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go through all of them because, again, I'm trying to get everything out about the course, but I would like to give a special shout out to my bro Brandon. He is getting promoted today, so that's why I'm going in. Basically, some people went straight back to work. I actually took a 4-day pass, but I will be going to my bro's promotion. I will leave his Instagram down below. If you have any PPO related questions that I am not able to get to you right away, or even if you just want to follow him on Instagram, at the end of the day, we are all in the military, and if you have any questions and he can help you in regards to like your packet or whatever, then hit him up. Please don't hesitate to hit me up. I prefer you guys send me a message on Instagram or on my Outlook, because if you email me, I might not look at it right away. I check my work email daily, but sometimes I don't check my personal email daily. So make sure y'all hit me up on Instagram if you want to respond right away. So I also want to give a shout out to CW2 Lynch. He was able to come in our class and talk to us. CW2 Ortiz, she came and talked to our class. They gave us so many tools. CW2 Singleton, he gave us this big Teams folder, basically A through Z, of anything PPO related, continuity, stamps, templates, memos, whatever you want to call it. Thank you so much. And then I also want to give a special shout out to our instructor, CW2 Promotable Sears. He will be getting promoted come August to CW3. Congratulations, sir. We really appreciate you as a class. We value everything that you said and taught us in that class, and we will most definitely be reaching out to you if we have any questions. Shout out to CW5 Jackson. Shout out to CW5 Jones. Shout out to CW4 Porter. Shout out to CW4 Hike. He wrote my senior letter of recommendation. There is like so many people that I want to shout out. And then I can't forget my Instagram folks that have been hitting me up. And some people who have been hitting me up on Outlook. I have you all as well, so I'm going to be looking down at my iPad to give you all a shout out, and I apologize if I'm saying your name incorrectly. So shout out to Sergeant Stanley, shout out to Kavan, shout out to Staff Sergeant Lujan, shout out to my battle Prince Judas. He is on Instagram. I'll leave his name down below. We was in SFAB together. Anil, ANIL, shout out to you. Shout out to Staff Sergeant Gonvales. I think I'm saying that name correct. I apologize, honey. I am so sorry. Gonbales, Chanel. Shout out to O_so familiar. Shout out to you. Shout out to J1 Birds. Listen, I have a lot of people I have to shout out. So I'm going to stop right there because I know y'all are like over it. I'm going to go ahead and jump into all of the things that I need to talk to you guys about in regards to WOBC. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into everything in regards to what I want to talk about based off my experience and opinion. And I'm going to be looking at it my iPad. So if you see my eyes wandering to your left, then that's what I'm doing. I have it propped up because I want to stay on topic. And then I'm also going to insert some clips and some videos of my class in between this video or either at the end of this video. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them down in the description box below. And then I don't know if I said it already, but make sure y'all subscribe, okay? Okay, so first and foremost, we will be talking about accountability, okay? So everybody knows that there is accountability formation regardless if you are at your organization or if you are TY at a school. Accountability matters, okay? Everyone matters. You have to account for not just yourself, but your soldiers. So in this situation, in regards to WOBC, we had to send up an accountability text every day just to say, hey, I'm here. And then we also had PT formation every single day, Monday through Friday. You know, as a warrant officer, that's just something we have to do. We have to start going to these formations. If you have not been going to them already, you are wrong. At least go to the first formation. That's at 0630. And then after that, if you choose to do your own thing because you are, you know, waiting for your WOBC date, then by all means. But I would say that if you are at 920 Alpha or Bravo and you are getting ready to go to WOBC, you need to do some OJTing, which is on the job training with your current PBO or the PBO that you are going to replace. Because the tests that we took, yeah, they're hard, especially the G Army test. You think you might know it, but when you get on that computer and you're in that system, or you get into that G Army system, you are going to be lost. So if you're going to the first formation, as far as like accountability, and then you're going home for the rest of the day, then that's on you. I just know when you get there, you're going to have a hard time, especially if you have not been in a PBO position. Okay, so that's accountability Monday through Friday. We text in the morning before we go to PT, and then we show up again at the accountability formation. And then we go to class at 0830, and we are in class all day. Again, instructor dependent. You might get out at 16, 1630, 17, 1730, or 1800. 1800, yes, Mr. Sears, 1800, which, you know, we're not complaining about because our POI says that we supposed to go all the way out into 1800. So it just depends on your instructor. We was tired. 1800 came and we didn't even know what to do. Like, our brains was just looking like, oh, we still in class. But again, that's my personal opinion. I'm not complaining, but it just depends on your instructor. Okay, next, I will talk about, I basically already talked about buying warrant officer gear, so I don't want to touch on that again. Mentorship. So throughout the course, we had so much mentorship. We had so many people come in and talk to us. We had WOAC classes come talk to us. We integrated with different classes in regards to playing PT and talking to some of our other classmates. For whatever reason, we don't like to, you know, reach out to the 920 Bravos or the 922s, or matter of fact, I got the coin with all the MOSs. The 921 Alphas or the 923 Alphas or the 922 Alphas. For whatever reason, we all need each other. We all need each other, either in a SPO shop, either individually at a battalion, or whatever the case may be. So make sure you get that mentorship, because that was the biggest thing. And I really appreciate that. I was like in tears almost sometimes from some of the, you know, people coming in to talk to us. Again, like Miss Jackson came in and talked to us. Mr. Jones came in there and talked to us. Miss Woodyard, she's retired CW5, 30 years in the service. She came and talked to us. We had so much mentorship. So take it for what it's worth. You know, write notes, ask questions, and just value and appreciate their opinions, because they've already been through it. They're not telling us anything that they have not experienced. So don't get frustrated. Don't feel like it's a waste of time, because it's actually valuable information, and it's different mentorship than what we receive at WOBC. I will say that. So just pay attention, ask questions, and don't complain. PT, competing with other classes. So when we did PT, we competed with, you are supposed to be doing PT with your soldiers. Don't be closed-minded. So when we got together with the other classes, we basically like competed with each other, but we were still making sure that we played and we did what we were supposed to do during those PT hours. And also in regard to my battle, because he was a distinguished honor grad and he was an Iron Soldier, your ACFT matters, okay? Every time I take my ACFT, I tried my hardest. I got a 550. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I got a 550. And in WOBC, I think I got like a 536, a 540. But every time I take my ACFT, I try to do my best, because you just never know. Like my battle, Reyes, he ended up getting the Iron Mike, the Iron Soldier. not Iron Mike, the Iron Soldier Award because he scored a 600 on his ACT. And I don't have a 600, but that might be a determining factor between me and somebody else in regards to an award I might get, my OER, you just never know. So make sure when you're doing PT or taking your ACT, make sure you give your best effort. Don't say you're gonna do the bare minimum, especially if you're in front of a soldier. Just mentally go out there and try to give it your all and give it your best. And in regards, since I'm showing y'all my actual ACT scores, we got these certificates as well. So this is something that you will be getting when you graduate in a packet. This one, completing the Warrant Officer Basic Course Certificate. I think this is like phase 2, phase 1. I'm not sure, I didn't look at it, I didn't read it, but I'm trying to not waste everyone's time. So I'm just skimming through these. Your test administrative statements, because we took 4 tests, so we had to fill those out several times. I filled the checklist because we did have a 4-day. Again, if you are in class on a 4-day, you will be allowed to take a 4-day. Mr. Sears also gave us our class photo because he's bomb.com. So within this packet, this is all of the things that we got. So he took a class picture of us and he printed it all for us, and he gave us basically a note on the back. Again, Mr. Sears was the best instructor, hands down, in the ALU. And I'm sticking with that. And look, everyone else were great instructors as well, but he was like the best. I'm pretty sure when he leaves, he's gonna get the instructor award, if that's a thing. Okay, so back to what I would talk about. Community service. So we all have to do community service, and you can actually annotate those as volunteer hours when you get back to your unit. Just make sure you be friendly. Try not to get too close to people and be all up in their face. Make sure you wash your hands, because you know some people still are afraid of COVID thing. If you want to wear a mask, cool. But what I would say is community service made me feel like I was blessing and giving back. Well, I'm actually blessed to just be here in general, but I felt like I was blessing others by, you know, helping and showing my presence and giving back to the community. 2 community service events that you have to do, and one is during phase 1 and another one is during phase 2. So we went to a nursing home, and then we went and actually passed out food, and both of them were great events and great turnouts. Nothing to complain about in that situation. So when you go to WOBC, you will have to do community service. Even if you are in WOAC, you have to do community service because they was telling us about the community service they did. All right, so the next thing we'll talk about is ASUs versus your ASGUs. So I wasted a lot of money in walks getting my ASUs together. And then when I got to WOBC, I started buying bits and pieces. And at the very last day of graduation, I wanted to wear my ASGUs, which is my pink and greens. And I forgot to get my DUI, which was my unit insignia that goes on my lapels or flaps or whatever you want to call them. But I forgot, and I was just over it because I'm just like, I wasted all this money getting my ASGUs together when I could have just got my ASGUs together. So if you have time before you go to WOPS and WOBC to get them, don't even waste your time on getting your ASUs together because you still have to get them dry cleaned, whether they are your ASUs or your ASGUs. You don't want your pants to be wrinkled. You don't want your shirt to be wrinkled. Granted, you can probably iron your shirt and your pants yourself if you are okay with that, but just don't waste no money. I would say if you have the time now and the funds, because we all will get one last clothing allowance when we finish or graduate WOPS, so go ahead and just start buying the ASGUs. They look better because you'll know that, hey, we have to get these by 2027. I think that's the year. Don't quote me on that if I'm mistaken. Please comment down below the correct year. Not trying to say it looks bad because you don't have your ASGUs, but when you go through WOPS, you will see the difference between who actually took the time to get their ASGUs and when you go to WOBC and graduate, who took the time to get their ASGUs, because we're warrant officers now. We know better. Just go ahead and get the uniform. Okay, so next we are going to talk about the hotel because we all stay at the IHG. Unless you are going to WOAC, then you can stay off post. It just depends because even if you are in WOAC, sometimes they will make you stay on post at the IHG. I had no issues with staying on post at the IHG because you could literally walk across the street to class. So I'm not going to even complain about being, told that I had to stay on post at the IHG. I'm not complaining at all. What I will say is don't give your complaints to the school. So the school can't do nothing about the IHG not giving us hot water. I didn't have any issues with not having hot water, but we did have some issues where some of the washers or the dryers were down. And then you have to wake up at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning just to wash your clothes. And it's only 6 or 7 floors. And so trying to go to each floor to figure out which washer and dryer worked or which hallway, because it is extremely the biggest hotel I have ever been to. You will be walking, feel like a mile, 2 miles just to get to a washer that works. But the ALU cannot do anything about it. Please don't put it on your end of course critique, because y'all gonna sit there and talk about it for 15-20 minutes and then the school cannot do anything about it. The school is not affiliated with the hotel. They have their own services. What will happen is you will have somebody that is delegated to take notes and, you know, whatever issues that you might have to the hotel, and then you can address them and send it to someone individually or separately, because again, the ALU, the schoolhouse, has no control over hot water, washers and dryers not working, parking, what floor and what room you're gonna be on, whether or not you have to move out of that room based off of whatever the case may be. So I would just keep that in mind when y'all do your end of course critique, that anything that you complain about in regards to the hotel, it's just gonna be a conversation, because nothing can literally happen through the ALU, which is the schoolhouse. And I will say last but not least, because I feel like I have been talking enough, I will be talking about the end of course critique. So what we did is I tried my best to continuously, every time we did something, put it in the group chat, because you have to do your AAR comments. And so your AAR comments will go in your end of course critique. And then a day before class, the entire class will talk about it. So I would just say be mindful of what you say, because when it comes down to the end of course critique, if it was something that you said, you will have to speak up and say, okay, well, I had this issue. Or why did you have this issue? Well, I had this issue because of this. Or why did you think it was an issue? Oh, well, because da 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 da. So sometimes it can be kind of like long-winded, and then you'll be in there doing in the course critique for like 2 hours when it could have really only took 30 minutes, because at this point you really don't have a complaint. You're just basically want somebody to know how you feel. And if that's the case, you can just pull that person to the side. For example, we had sharp training. Great instructor, hands down one of the best sharp trainings I have encountered while being in the military. Nothing was on the end of course critique for sharp training in regards to the instructor. No sustains, there was the sustains, like very hands-on, very knowledgeable, use good examples, had the entire class participate. And so we had sustains. There was no improves that needed to be done. There was basically the slide was blank because we didn't have any complaints. So if you feel like it is something that you want to address, maybe pull that instructor to the side, or pull whoever to the side based off of the topic that is on the end of course critique, and then just talk to that person individually, because you're going to waste a lot of time. It's a day. Again, the end of course critique is talked about the day before class. And at that point, we're just all trying to, have time to ourselves to go finish getting our uniforms ready, packing, and all of that. So just keep in mind that when you are doing your end of course critique based off of those subjects and those lessons that you are doing every day, try to have some comments, some sustains, some improves on a daily, and send them in the group chat, or put them, write them down. So when the S3 is actually asking for your AAR comments, you already have them. You don't have to think about it. You won't have to be like, oh, I remember when was this, or what class was this, or oh, I forgot, and when did we do this, and who was the instructor? You don't want to be in that situation, because that's going to take more time as well. And I know I said that the last thing I want to talk about was the end of course critique, but I have one last final issue or something that I want to talk about, okay? So when you are in the ALU, there is AOC, SOC, BOLIC, Warrant Officer Basic Course, Warrant Officer Advanced Course, like all of these different courses, and there are so many people there. Do not get upset because someone did not salute you, okay? It is what it is. At the end of the day, AOC, SOC, they probably want to beat us. They probably looking at us like, damn, how can I be? And they might just be too scared to approach us and talk to us, because we are more so like mingling together or walking to our vehicles together. So if you see E5, E6 that don't salute you, then it's gonna be okay, all right? When we get back to our unit, of course, if you have soldiers that do that, if you want to address it. Or if you feel like, well, okay, I'll let it go. Maybe they didn't see me, then don't say nothing about it. But in that school environment, is so many people. Even with BOLIC, we have to salute the lieutenants, like they outrank us, and so make sure you properly greet them. But what I will say is that at the end of the day, when I went to AOC and SOC, it was completely different from being in WOBC. And I will say that because maybe based off of age when I went to AOC and SOC, maybe based off of, my passion, for being a warrant officer changed some of my habits. Maybe I had some bad habits back when I went through AOC and SOC. For example, maybe when I went through AOC and SOC, I wanted to go out to eat every day, but now I'm more considerate about how I spend my money and what I eat and what I put in my body. So being that I was in WOBC, I'm like, no, I'm not eating out every day. That's a waste of money, waste of time. And why do I need to go out to eat with my classmates? I've been with them all day. Like, I will say that we did have some student dinners where our classes did go to dinner together, but that wasn't every weekend, so it was manageable and it didn't make us frustrated at the end. Like, we actually got along, our entire class, no complaints, no nothing, no frustration. So I will say, how you treat somebody and how you interact with someone, they may see you again. I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10 we are going to run into each other. I see people on Instagram all the doggone time that used to be in my unit or my previous units, or they might be hanging with somebody else at an event like a concert or a basketball game or something, and I'm like, oh, I know this person. Or I might run into my senior warrant officer who wrote my LOR. I might run into, for example, Miss Jackson. I done talked to her on multiple occasions, and I was finally able to meet her for the first time in person. So just be mindful in regards to AOC, SOC, BOLIC, basic course, advanced course, and all of that. Just be mindful. So I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to include some videos based off of PT and how we had fun. We came together, we were teammates, we played against each other, and just different socializing events, and just some of the events that we did as far as like community service. And so if you like what you see, then please give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions, then please don't hesitate to ask. Again, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I would not be here without you guys, and I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I really value each and every one of your questions, and again, I try to get back to you as soon as possible. I even had some soldiers that, you know, hit me up like, hey ma'am, I got a 133 on my GT. Matter of fact, I'm gonna leave it right here. Hey ma'am, I got a 133. Hey ma'am, I got a 130. I got a over a 110. So if my videos are helping you, I'm pretty sure they will help somebody else. So please just make sure you share them with the Army community, and let's just help each other out. Again, until next time, this is Amelia Talks. Let's talk about it. Peace.